houses, after the Horlicks bottle is consumed, would have ended up becoming a bottle of peanuts or a bottle of cashew nuts or a bottle of something else. But very unlikely that we would throw it. Same thing happens with newspapers. It gets onto the shelves. Same thing happens with plastic buckets. Same thing happens with plastic mugs. Now think of any recyclable that is used in house, which could be a paper, plastic, metal, glass, anything. There is absolutely zero chance that we would actually throw it. We'd actually pack it and keep it. And just imagine 10 years back when milk used to be delivered in sachets. Sachets used to be bagged. And when they become a large bag of sachets, we used to sell them. So the mindset of recycling, the mindset that the resources are deficit and we need to take care of them is inherently within us. Therefore, the garbage that comes onto the streets is absolute garbage and it's not any useful value. And that keeps recycling at a very, very, very good position for us. But the challenge here is 100% of recycling in this country is through the unorganized kabaddi sector. It has not come into the organized sector. Is it right to get it immediately? Should it take us longer time? But at some point in time, we will need to formalize this sector. When and how do we ensure that the employment of the existing kabaddi wallas is not lost is probably the largest challenge that government will have to think through and come up with a long-term solution. So if we sum total all of these opportunities in water, where every single liter of water has to be treated, in sewage, where every single liter of sewage is to be treated, air pollution, which is a serious problem, solid waste, which is less than 10% compliant, and recycling, the opportunity in this sector is upwards of $25 billion every year. And out of this $25 billion opportunity, currently we are less than $500 million in terms of environmental services opportunity. That is the kind of gap and that is the kind of opportunity this sector provides. And therefore, I think there is a huge opportunity for everyone who wants to work in the environmental services sector, but it's got to have patience and it's going to take a lot of time to ensure that the waste management in the country, the water management in the country, and the environmental management in the country becomes a scientific, organized way forward. So thank you all very much and good luck for the day and we can discuss a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. We've been joined by Mrs. Meenakshi Lekhi, and she's a member of parliament, and we'd love to hear as to what she has to say. Mrs. Lekhi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mittal, Mr. Gautam Reddy, Ms. Seema, friends. Today is Earth Day, and how we have polluted this planet and how we need this planet for our sustainable development. That is the premise on which I'm here to address everyone. On one side, the commitment of our government is to the development, and on the other side, development, but it has to be sustainable development. So neither can we compromise on the development parameters and nor can we compromise on the environmental aspects of the development. And keeping a sound balance between the two premises is what the government's policies have to be tuned to. But there cannot be knee-jerk reaction to various issues. The odd even is taking toll on Delhi. And I am one sufferer, and all of you also, that I couldn't join you in the morning, is one aspect of the whole thing. Now, when we are looking at solutions, solutions have to be scientific, logical. Simply reacting to things and reactionary solutions are no solutions, because it reminds me of an old saying. In Delhi used to be ruled by Tughlaq also for some time, and it sounds like Tughlaqi Farman, that those things are coming back, that at that point in time, the flow of water, the use of currency, without preparing for those things, how you make policy decisions and interventions is what the population will suffer from. And when we look at the solution, I must tell you that 175 gigawatt of renewable energy is what the government of India has promised and is working on it. Whether it's solar, water, hydro, that is hydro, or wind, geothermal. All these are aspects which are incorporated into it, including biogas, biomethanization. And I'm personally a big fan of biomethanization plants all over, because I feel the organic waste is actually not a waste, it is one of the biggest resource. And if we can work on this resource, the industry also has to look at it. And industry has to start looking at these issues as money-making issues, because once that outlook comes, then I think a lot and lot people will get interested, because somewhere the idea is to have good inventions, patent those technologies, and utilize them for the betterment of mankind. I would be looking forward to solutions which any of you and every one of you is welcome to share. At the same time, the solutions have to be sustainable. It should not be that we put up a project in 5 years, it goes kaput and it's non-functional. That is not the way systems have to operate. Systems have to be permanent and permanent solutions to problem. And I think the first thing is to understand the problem. For example, the pollution problem in Delhi, especially the air pollution, is the dust pollution basically. The major part of the pollution comes from dust, and until unless you find a solution to C&D waste, which keeps getting poured in from all sides on the Delhi roads, you will never be able to treat the pollution in Delhi. So until unless some firm, some company, some money-making venture comes forward and start picking up that Malba or C&D, till then the dust quality or the quality of air and the content of dust in the pollution will not improve. Something which is considered as a waste is actually a resource for building material and can be recycled to make building material. Similarly, the organic garbage, from methanization to composting, but composting according to me is a low yielding product, and compost in any case you will get once you do the methanization. And that slurry can be utilized, and the quality, if I research something and I just want to share that, the quality of soil over the years has actually become bad because the humus content has gone down. Earlier the humus content used to be 5 to 8%. Today all over, if you take the soil sample, the humus content usually is 1 or 2% or less than that, and due to which the soil becomes lighter and the topsoil also loses its value and is available as the ppm is getting incorporated into the air. But the moment you put fertilizer or compost or humus on that, the water retaining capacity of the soil goes up, and so does its capacity to give life a chance, that is in terms of some wild plants, some insects, and that is how we can actually create a complete cycle that biodigesters and other such innovations which exist, or methanization processes, we could take care of that, and soil all over by the roadside, etc., can improvise, and greenery can improve, and the waste management can be better. There are ideas, but those ideas have to be implemented by the industry. I always believe, I said, I am only on the policy side, and as a thinking person, I do have some ideas, but finally, till the waste is started to be looked at as a resource, this mindset has to be brought in. Until we bring in this mindset, we will not be able to actually contain the waste. And another aspect is the population also, because SDGs have come from Millennium Development Goals. We cannot achieve SDGs until and unless we have population control measures also at the same time, because end of the day, procreation to living life to for any living being, it is based on energy consumption. And how can you control consumption of energy? I mean, of course, you can control the waste, because in the till now, the history of mankind has been wasteful expenditure of energy by some of the developed nations. Now, keeping that as one control mechanism, in the developing world, while we were conserving energy, at the same time we were procreating beyond limits. So even that has to be controlled. So if we control two sides, the over expenditure of energy by the ones who have, who are bringing rules now, and the procreation patterns of the ones who do not have, if we bring in a balance between these two things, the earth will definitely be a better place for the mankind to live. And then we can all have sustainable development, and sustainable development goals can be achieved. I really don't wish to extend this talk more than needed, because I think everybody present in the audience is the well-versed people who understand the subject, who are interested in making Earth a better day, a better place, and let's all have a better celebration also of the Earth Day, and industry development along with better environmental practices should all go together for each one of us to benefit from and our coming generations to benefit from. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and any solutions that you may suggest are welcome in terms of conserving energy, making better use of renewable energy, better logistics systems, and better management systems. I think ideas are there, but it's all about how to do it in a better managerial capacities have to improve. And if that capacity building improves, we will all improve. Thank you very much.
I request now Mrs. Seema Arora, Executive Director, CII-ITC, Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, to offer her concluding remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Mittal. Shrimati Meenakshi Lekhi ji, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha. Mr. Mittal, Mr. Gautam Reddy, friends and associates, let me begin by welcoming you all to this celebration of Earth Day for all of us today. And thank you very much for joining us for this interesting day. I hope this Environmental Services, Global Conference on Environmental Services for Sustainable Development. As has been mentioned by Mrs. Lekhi just now, I think, and she has offered that anyone who has innovative solutions is welcome to bring those up. And I think all of us as citizens, as businesses, as stakeholders, need to apply ourselves and understand that how we can be a part of the solution. We are, as we heard, any human activity adds to the problem, as we heard. So how can we ensure that we become a part of the solution rather than the problem is what we need to deliberate upon and reflect upon, I think. We have a very interesting day's program, and I'm sure, we will hear from distinguished speakers who have come from across the world, and I'm really grateful to them for having spent their time to come in to talk to us. I think it would help us understand not only the challenge which our speakers earlier have put across, but also to see, are there practices that we can learn? Are there things that we can learn and we can adapt here? Mr. Reddy mentioned $25 billion as the potential of opportunity of environmental services. So are we actually creating an enabling framework to reap this potential is really the question. And how can we create that potential? How can we build capacity, as Mrs. Lekhi said, to be able to take this to the next level? We have in the CII, as you know, 9 centers of excellence. A lot of them focus on environment, sustainable development. The CII-ITC center also focuses on sustainable development. Last year has been a very historic year for the work we do, precisely for the fact that the Sustainable Development Goals were launched and also the Paris Agreement came into being. And today, 150 countries will sign that agreement, as Mr. Mittal mentioned. So we are looking forward that through all these steps, all countries in the world and all individuals, all stakeholders will be able to make a contribution, as Mrs. Lekhi said, to make this world a better place to stay. And thank you very much once again, and we will have a short tea break of about 15 minutes before we go into the next session. Thank you, and please join me in thanking the panelists, Mrs. Lekhi, Mr. Reddy, and Mr. Mittal, for having given us a wonderful start. Thank you.
Request the panelists to be there on the top table as well. We are going to